Hello and welcome to a new episode of Other Record Labels. I'm your host, Scott Orr, where we talk about the art and culture of running an independent record label. And today, we're heading back over the Atlantic Ocean from Canada to Spain, and we're talking with Lacreu Records. This is a record label that I found myself, actually. I don't know if I discovered them on Bandcamp or if it was Instagram, but I've been following them for a little while, and I reached out to them because I just think everything they do, the music, I'm a big fan of the music, and I think that's probably a good thing, right? That's where it should all begin, and what's probably most important about record labels is the music. They have such great taste in music, and I loved everything I found on their Bandcamp, and I follow them on Instagram, and I love their visuals as well. Did I say Instagram? I meant Instagram with an M. Instagram is like when you is like something with your grandmother. But anyway, you're gonna like today's interview. I speak with Nabil and Jesus from Lacreu, and I think you're going to find it really helpful. Speaking of helpful, please visit our website, otherrecordlabels.com/toolkit. No matter where you are in your record label journey, if you are still in the dreaming phase, and I know we have a lot of listeners and independent artists who are thinking about starting a record label, if you're in that stage, or if you've been running your label for a year or a couple of years or several years, there's something in this toolkit that you will find helpful or at least inspiring. There's templates and there's checklists. So go to otherrecordlabels.com/toolkit. You can click the link in this episode description to get a link to our toolkit, otherrecordlabels.com/toolkit. Well, how do you say your label name? Lacreu?
Yeah, it's actually like in Spanish it would be Lacreu.
Okay.
But then in English, like we like how you can say it in weird and different ways. So like that way you just said it, it's perfect.
Well,
Lacreu, like you can go from the name from like Creole, so like you know, like that criollo.
Okay.
You can also go to like Lacreu in that way. I don't know. It's yeah.
So what does it mean?
A little bit of mystery is cool. Yeah.
What
is Lacreu in Spanish? Yeah, Lacreu.
It actually looks French a little bit.
Yeah, because it's actually Catalan. We were living together when we started the label in a street that was called Lacreu, which is just it means the cross. La Creu.
Okay. Oh, okay. Okay, that's cool.
But it's a little bit of a it's a little bit of a silly joke too, because there's a word from, we are all Venezuelans, so there's a slang term that it's lacra, which just means something that is cool, but also that is like the literal meaning is something that is someone that is like a criminal, or you know. But the slang, when you use it that way, it just is something that is good, that is, it's cool.
Yeah. So you guys are from Venezuela? I think both of you? I think I read that.
Yeah. We are all actually like, so it's mostly like three of us that run the label from here in Barcelona, from the studio where we are. And then it's about 8 artists that are all Venezuelan, and they're in different parts of the world.
Okay.
So we're all Venezuelan. We didn't set up for it to be that way, you know, in the beginning, like all of us, like it wasn't going to be like,
especially the artists, you know.
Exactly.
Like it wasn't our plan to be like a Venezuelan label or anything like that, but it just happened organically that way. So I think in the end it's something positive, because it's like it needed. There was a space, because with all the situation in Venezuela, there was sort of like an exodus of people. So everyone from our kind of age mostly went away to many different countries and stuff. So I think there was this need to like get back together, at least virtually, you know, because back home there was a sort of a scene of, you know, bands and everyone just went away to different places. So that kind of disappeared, but I feel now it's like sort of like starting to everyone get together virtually, of course, because of the distance.
Yeah.
But I think that's why, that's why people felt the need to like, artists that we kind of admired from back when we were living there, and they came to us like, "Hey, we like what you're doing." So I think it's because we kind of fill that void without even thinking about doing that,
Well, that's interesting. So you guys are based out of Spain, but most of your artists aren't based out of Spain?
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
We have artists in Mexico, in Miami, in Chile, in France, in Estocolmo, in London. Am I missing? We have a map here.
No, that's it.
That's it. Yeah.
That's cool.
Well, and Madrid, like
Madrid,
some are in Spain,
Yeah,
but
right.
But mostly aren't. That's a bit weird, obviously. But
I as a music fan, I might come across a record label online and get into the music before I realize that a label is from Spain or New Zealand or Venezuela, and it's kind of nice that location doesn't really matter these days.
Yeah, of course, because we have all the means of distributed globally. I think, but also,
and to make the music too, no? Like right now, you can, if you have a laptop, basically you can do whatever you want. It's weird because there's so many options that it also can work against you, but it's also a good thing that everyone can have access to everything, sort of. Like you can download almost any instrument or any software. So it's pretty open.
But you guys promote, and I kind of feel like there's like this Spanish vibe to your design, and you promote that you're from Barcelona and on your Bandcamp. So it does, and you have this Venezuela to Barcelona thing. It does play a role for you guys, does it not? Like geography is important.
For sure, because we are here. We are the three one of us that around the label live here for about the same time, like 8 years. So it's kind of our home now.
Yeah,
and of course, it's in our plan to do things here, like do concerts and do shows.
Yeah, we would love to develop it, like the project, to develop it into a sort of maybe events happening here, like a festival, that sort of thing. Also, we think like the city sort of like it can hold that sort of event and culturally diverse, Also, it's important that like there's a lot of Venezuelans here in Barcelona and in Spain, and that also like takes into account, like we want to like establish there's like something going on here, because I think there is a lot of people here. So that's
Are most of your releases in Spanish?
Yeah, mostly. There's some instrumental ones.
Yes.
There's an artist that we just released his debut album this year, and he's the first one that is only in English.
Is that the Slow Glow?
Exactly. That's the Slow Glow.
That's a beautiful record.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's great.
He actually had a previous career, if you can say it that way, back home, and he had a project that was called Hotel, and it was in Spanish, sort of like more similar but more folk, just straight up folk.
More folky, more DIY.
Yeah,
right?
and like the same like the rest of us, he moved to Sweden and sort of like did the whole like being a migrant thing, and for some time until you like can get back to music, and now he's like he has all these songs he's been writing, and this new project where he's doing that change to doing it in English. So it's kind of interesting to even for us like previous fans of his earlier stuff.
Yeah.
Like to have it now, it's really cool. Yeah.
How did that release go for you? It is a great album.
Yeah, it went well. I think, I mean, we have a hard time kind of measuring sometimes like what is exactly success for each release. I think you've talked about this a lot on the podcast, and we listened to it, and yeah, for this release, I think it went great, even though we are still like, we want to still promote it more. I think it needs like the last 3 releases of ours, I think are still alive. You know what I mean? Like
100%. Good point. Yeah.
So in that way, I think it's I think also like there's a huge part of the label that I think it's really important, which is like we have the studio here, which is where we are right now, and a lot of the music that goes out goes through here, and like so like a lot of the times just like having the music out it's like that's success like most of the times, you know what I mean? Because like because also we are working creatively in a lot of the projects, you know. So we put a lot of effort into like making like the best albums and like arts, you know, and I think that when we get that is success, like most of the time.
Yes.
And yeah, for this album also, it has been going like good for our standards, you know. I think each time we are getting the platform a little bit bigger, so each new album kind of like you know, does better than it would have if it would have been released, you know.
I totally agree. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's just totally natural. And sometimes I often, it's funny you say that. I often feel like, oh, I wonder what it'd been like to have released that record I released 5 years ago now. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah, for sure.
So how is the English, this is one of your first English releases. Has that been different than, has it exposed you to different types of press?
Yeah, really interesting, because I think we're just kind of, how to say this, like starting to reach out beyond our circle of people that already, or our little audience we just had from the start. We're starting to do, because we were growing, I think, organically until this point, meaning that we weren't having like big budgets to like get promotion or anything like that. It was just like basically social media and word of mouth, and you know. And now we are starting to, plan to do it a bit more like that, you know, like have a budget for promotion, and especially with this project, just because of that it's the first one in English. We're starting to see how can we reach maybe people that don't know anything about us, you know, because of the language. And in obviously the English market is a lot bigger than Spanish, so it's interesting. Yeah.
Have you had any success with your Spanish releases with English press?
Not really, right?
Not really.
No.
That's too bad.
Yeah. Yeah. We always like think how to like not pitch it, but like how to like what is the angle, you know? It's so it's interesting because like we have to like, I don't know, like get it out there, you know, in a way. Yeah.
Well, and I mean, it's a shame because a lot of people in America speak Spanish too. So I think I'm an anomaly, because in that I rarely pay attention to lyrics in the song, and I know a lot of people wouldn't agree with that, but I just care about the melody for me. And so that means I get to enjoy like Indian music or Spanish or Portuguese, and despite not understanding what's being said, I just think this melody is beautiful. This artist's voice is beautiful.
Or even the words sound cool, even if you don't
100%. Yeah.
Like, I love French music, for example. I don't know like one word, you know, like, and it's like, it sounds beautiful.
Oh, there's English words. There's English bands. I don't understand what they're saying, but I still love it. Yeah.
Yeah. For us, it was like we growing up listening to music in English and not knowing how to speak in English, and you just like mumbling the words and kind of like
or like finding Spanish words that fit with how the English sounds.
Oh yeah.
Making your own lyric in your head, because obviously for you guys it's not like that. For us, like all the music most of the music is in English.
Yeah.
You know, most popular. So
sure.
You're on the radio and you're hearing English or the maybe movies. So
yes.
And you don't know anything. Just so you're in your mind like exchanging words for Spanish or just mumbling like it sounds like blah, blah, blah. And so
it's funny because as a kid, when I listened to pop music, there'd be a lot of romantic connotations or sexual connotations that as a kid I wouldn't know what it means. So it's kind of the same as you guys. It's like I'm just singing along.
And someone comes and it's like, do you heard the Junga Junga song? And he said, yeah, that's really cool. The Junga, so just like, phonetically, like things sound good even if you don't know what the people. Well, and a romantic song even if you don't understand the lyrics, like there's something about
true
all production and the instruments and
the
emotion to the voice is really interesting that you don't even have to know what the words are.
There are American press, thinking of like Bandcamp Editorial and Pitchfork, that have been more receptive to non-English music. I think is certainly instrumental music, but
it kind of recently, I think, because maybe Latin music is being a lot more popular. So things are kind of opening, and maybe more with dance stuff like reggaeton and etc. But that is opening the door for maybe a little things that are a little more different or whatever.
Listening to music in Spanish and just enjoying it for what it is, not really,
absolutely. And I think for a while, North Americans had created this kind of box, this wall, and inside was like English and outside was like world music, and that term has become kind of inappropriate to say that if you don't understand the lyrics, it's world music or whatever country, if it's not North American or British or that's interesting.
But I do see like at least for like Latin, like I see a lot of projection in North America, especially. Like I see, I don't know, like Rosalia is like the biggest like release in US or whatever. That's opening. That's also like that's recognition, and that's also good for everyone that's doing like music in Spanish and that's doing music from elsewhere that wanna get an audience, get a bigger audience. It's about that also,
And I think it's just good for music in general, like people are listening to different things, if it becomes popular to listen to things that are beyond your culture and your country, and I think that's just good. That's so good that it's happening, even if it's very slowly or very but it's happening.
That's a great point, because we're like so used to like being like so like in a genre prison, in every aspect, in music especially. I remember everyone growing up, like what you listen to, and you cannot say more than 3 genres, or like rock, pop, and then whatever. If you said something else, it would be like weird, maybe. So now it's like it's good that all the genres are mixing, because
Absolutely. And if you have and I think a little bit of that has to do with playlisting as well, and how we're replacing genres with moods or activities. And I kind of like that. I don't personally listen to music that way, but I like that for some other fans, because, then if a Spanish song comes on a workout playlist, but it still gets you this pumped up, then who cares?
Yeah, and people pay attention to the mood also. Like
Yes.
maybe you don't know what they're saying, but that doesn't matter anymore. It's just like, oh, this is such a good vibe for whatever.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
More about that.
Yeah, we cannot ask like everyone to be like such a like a special. Like we used to remember to listen to music on the radio all the time. That was the thing, you know, just listen to random music on different shows on the radio, and that was really cool, actually. Like,
yeah,
and that's the most of the ways that people like to listen to music, like kind of unconscious, you know, like kind of, you know, that's good.
This is great. Was when you spoke about vibe a little bit, and I was thinking about the sounds of your label, and I want to talk to you, move off of the language, and talk to you a little bit more about genre and a little bit more about the sound. Do you guys have a genre, or like how do you determine what type of music you'll put out?
Yeah, I don't think we have we are not close about genre or.
Mm-hmm.
But we maybe put more focus into the each case is a new person, a new opportunity, and it's just like, okay, do we like it or not? And based upon that, the relationship we have with the person, because most of our artists are just friends, you know, like maybe they were,
for sure.
Some were literally just friends from back home.
Yeah.
And others
like
were like relationships started. And also, like we were saying before, maybe something that is kind of different with us is that we, not in everything, but in most things, we are part of the whole creative process. So we like mix and master and do production, record things here, do the art for the everything.
Okay.
So
I want to talk about that.
Yeah, it becomes more like it's our record too. like you know, I mix we record here the drums, we send them back. Then we have some other friend that does bass, and so you know, like it becomes like a network or a community of people that even if everyone is in different cities or far away, for me that's the what I like the most, like the community that form, and also like being able to work creatively with the work of people I really respect and admire. And it's not just like, oh, here's a record, just put it on play and Spotify, and it's more like, oh, no, okay, this is a cool song. Okay, let's.
But I'd imagine
here, or you know.
I imagine that most of your friends, then most of the people in your community play or are interested in the same type of music. Is that true?
Yeah. No, everyone is different, of course, but
but I mean, we share like common like
references
taste and references.
Yes,
we
for sure.
Grew up in the same sort of like maybe musical like background. I mean, we listen to different stuff also, but and they make different music. That's really interesting. But they come from like sensibility that's, I think, similar in a way. Yeah,
and I think it's starting to happen also some like positive feedback between like, because just of the reaction of like, you know, maybe 2 or 3 different artists that record the publish their solo stuff on the label. They work on each other's records, maybe doing like
cool
piano or whatever.
Yeah.
Then they start getting the influence of the other guys. You know what? For example, one of them was making a lot more like beat-oriented stuff, and now another artist is starting like to learn how to use Ableton and like
sure.
So you know, this is starting to happen. Like this whole feedback thing. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
There is I personally see, and it's one of the reasons I was attracted to your label. I personally see a thread, a connection of your graphic design and your illustrations and the colorful look of all of your social media and your merchandise and apparel, album covers, and to me, it reflects the music. So there is some sort of thread. Are you conscious of that thread?
I mean, we didn't like plan it out, in a way, but we have sort of been like curating it each step. Like it has been part of like the decision making and how like we. And it's because I think it's because the music kind of guides us. Like from the first album, I mean, at least for me, like I get in the project in a way like getting to know Nabil and Goose and being friends with them, and then and getting to know like they were on this project of Alonso, another friend from Santiago, and they were doing this album, and just listening to the music for me was like one of the best albums I needed and heard at that time. And so then the bar was high, you know. I mean, at least for me, the bar was like always high. Like it has to be good, everything has to be like good, you know, in a way. And I mean, it's not like we're a design studio, you know, but we type of
so wait so tell me, so you're saying that the music sets the bar for the artwork, and is that what you're saying?
I think so, in a way. I think that started
very cool.
Started out that way, and it has also like it has happened in every album in a way, like and but then I mean then I also like the idea of the thread. In the thread, they're all making in the network that we're making, you know, like in the way that Nabil was talking about the positive feedback. Like I mean, I see a thread in the way that they're all like making music together, and kind of like I think new music is happening because of what they're doing and have done, you know. So I mean, it's really cool to see that right now, like because it's like it's the 4th year of the project, I think, right now, or the 3rd year. So it's like really cool because now you see like, oh, so this is what we're doing.
Well, I love
there's a lot of subconscious things going on with us for sure. Like even I was sort of thinking back to our short history today, just thinking about doing this podcast, you know, I'll just like sort of remembering like, okay, why did we start the day?
You know, I'm gonna ask.
It's funny that it's funny that we sort of didn't plan almost anything, you know. Like we didn't. We just had this one record, and it just, I don't even remember like the conversation of how did it happen. Like, oh, let's do a label to release this record. I don't even remember how that happened. It did, and then there was another record, and then there was another, and then there was another artist, and now it's like we have all this.
Right.
But there was never like this master plan of we're gonna be the Venezuelan label with all the people, and we're gonna connect. No, never.
Just, now we're actually like, okay, so we have this. You know, this monster, we have to feed it, you know?
Well, do you have a release schedule? Like, do you
for sure,
how do you hold yourself accountable? Like, how many releases would you like to be putting out a year?
We're I think it's like it depends on the artist most of the times. Like because like it depends when they're ready to release what they have been working on for such a long time, and then we have to like hold them back a bit, and then sort of like think a bit, you know, because they all want to release it like the next day they get the master.
Oh yeah, artists are always like that.
They want to show everyone, you know. I get it, like because like I'm listening to it, so I'm like, I know that it's good. I know, so let's just like try to release it the best way. But we're also like trying to find out all the ways that are the best way, because also I think for us it's really interesting that the label like works in this virtual way, like, and also it's not based here in Barcelona, but it's not really based anywhere, but it's like also like part of this post-Venezuelan network, and we don't have an audience in Venezuela as well because we're all outside. So it's a really weird, like audience. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like, it's hard to like target it, but we know, there's like such a bigger audience for this because it's such a good music. You know what I mean? Yeah.
I just want to, before we move on, and I want to ask you about the history because you were going in that direction. But I want to just go back to when you were talking about raising the bar or how the music sets the bar. And I think that's so critical for our listeners to think about and to ponder on, because what ends up happening is an artist will write these songs for an extended period of time, and then they'll record them, and then the mixing process is obviously very meticulous generally, and the mastering process is very meticulous. But then it's like, release it tomorrow, slap on a Instagram photo, you know what I mean, and no thought about the singles or the presentation or the package. And I always find that to be a shame, and our listeners know I love artwork, but like I always find that to be a shame that the same heart and intentionality doesn't go into the design and packaging and marketing strategy that goes into the music. I just find that's a shame, you know?
I think that's sort of the art that was a bit lost in this whole, like, you know, just do music in your living room with your laptop. And put it on
good
internet,
point. Good point.
Cool, but there was this whole group of people that is just, you know, it's like you have a company, like a huge company that's it with you, and you have like a group of designers and a group of people that just does the marketing and promotion, and they have been doing this for years, and they are all, you know what I mean, like you have the whole how you say, like infrastructure behind you as an artist. So this whole like event of the album as a cultural thing that is planned, you know, for maybe even a year or more, you know, like, and then what happens after, right? So there's this whole thing that happens. So I think all of that is like we are starting from zero, sort of, you know, like people are like, okay, it's cool, I can do music in my living room with my laptop, but I want to go beyond that, right? Like I want to do like, you know, I wanted to connect to people beyond that. Just putting a link to YouTube. I want to do like it's an event that happens, you know, like this album,
100%
experience of the album, you know, like going back to that, right? Like, you know, like wow, the album of whatever artist, it's coming out there next month. I've been waiting for a whole year, and it's like this thing that is happening like a movie, right? Or like
so it can be an experience, so it can have emotions, so it can have a narrative, so it can have a conversation around it. So because if not, it's you don't then you don't
connect to it, maybe.
It's all about like setting in a way, you know. It's all about like you know
that's a really good point. And I think that when you give it that narrative and when you give it that package, you're telling people subconsciously, at the very least, this is important. Listen to this.
This is gonna happen. It's coming. It's the biggest thing ever. It's like the greatest thing. You have to have it. You have, you know, this all like the new shoe. You know, it's the same.
Well, that's right, and I guess that's what marketing is, right? Putting all this, saying, "Hey, look, it's a pair of underwear, but look how important it is."
It's the best, you know. It's the best. You gotta have it, or you are the you know.
You're a loser.
I want to hang out with you.
Yeah, at the end, it's just like it's a
trick. It's a trick because it's unconscious. But if the songs are good, you want to do that service to this music,
to the artist,
to put it up there, you know, like, hey, look at it, it's
absolutely
good. And if you are just putting it on YouTube and it's just you, and you have to, and also artists most of the time are not good doing this, because a creative person most of the time is not someone that is that is not interested in this sort of promotion or marketing thing. So they usually they do all this work, as we were talking about, and then they just upload it, and it's like, okay, I did it. But you are losing this whole opportunity to, you know, to push it up and to be seen and to receive the attention that you deserve. You know, like this is good work, and sort of you're just showing it to your 5 friends and saying like, well, that's it, no? Like, and it's a shame because it's not their fault, right? It's the fault of the, you know, like maybe the whole system
right?
that sort of like, well, that's what is happening. And, you know, maybe people feel like there's no chance they're gonna like live off from their work. So maybe, I don't know. Yeah, it's kind of weird times to be having a label and doing music, but there's also good new things and new opportunities and new tools. So it's not all bad or all good, right? It's just different. It's just different. It's new, and we have to change and move and keep on going on.
Okay, so tell me, you had mentioned, we talked about this a little bit at the beginning, but just give me a little bit of a brief history of the label. You say that you're in around 4 years?
Yeah, we released the first EP of Alonso. It was August of 2018. So that would be 3 years and something.
Yeah,
right?
sure. Yeah.
And I mean, so from then we can go through the catalog a little bit, right? So we first off, we released Che by Alonso Casual. Then I'm going to go through albums, right? So then we did Sangre Azul by Luis Otamendi. He's in Miami. He's he makes this great like 70s rock, I don't know, type of ballads. Folky, folky. It's really nice. We then released 2 EPs by Freyes, which is this friend we're telling you that's making now like more beats sort of music. After that, we released Amigos Raros, that's Weird Friends by Alonso Casual. And from then we released a few like singles, different stuff that has been like not part of albums that are out now, but then we released the new album by Freyes. It's True Combo and The Hidden Toys. It's like a double EP. And we have in our like chronology, like because we incorporated or like Señor Presidente, which is like this amazing artist. He's this person we mentioned, like he was one of our like beloved artists from Venezuela, from like the scene there.
Oh, cool.
And he approached us and to release a new album, which was last year, Concorde. It's an amazing album. It's half 80s pop, half jazz, experimental, really beautiful stuff. I think it's like his best yet. And so then we actually like sort of made his music available like all throughout.
Oh, okay. That's why I see so many of his.
So then that's why like we have like 10 other albums that are sort of in between the Bandcamp.
I see that. Okay.
But it's also because we wanted it to be like so available because we love that discography. And it was a great like opportunity and like to like being part of that.
So I just want to go back to that August 2018 because I'm curious. You had said that everything. Oh my goodness! I'm just noticing your logo now is like a lazy boy with an eyeball peeking out from underneath. I just hadn't noticed that. I'm looking at it blown up. It's so cool. You can explain that maybe, but maybe
we can't. Right? That's maybe we can't explain anything.
That's funny. Okay, well, it's creeping me out. I love it. So beautiful. So, okay, you said that this kind of all fell into place, that you had no plan. So take me back to that summer 2018 when you said, "Hey, we need a logo, we need a name."
Yeah, it's funny because I maybe you remember, but I literally was thinking hard today. Like,
I remember.
Let me try to think like the moment that we had like the conversation where it was like, let's do one label to release this record.
I don't know if we had,
I don't remember
that conversation, like the three of us, but I remember like a moment in my living room with Gustavo, and I was just like, he's saying like, hey, I don't know, we were talking about music, and I remember I said, it would be really cool to have a label, like we should just have a label. I remember that.
I tried more than my own memory.
It would be cool to do that, like we could do that. And then from then on, like I thought it would, like for me from in the beginning, just like it was cool, like cool to make that character of it all, you know.
For sure.
I don't know. It was like, and
we didn't have any big, like we were saying, like this master plan of. Yeah, in 5 years we're gonna at all. That
we
was
thought
just
it was going to be just
this
like
is
a
school.
blog.
Like let's do it's let's how it is gonna be named. Just thinking month or like what is the logo or what, and then we have another record. Then when after we released the Alonso Casal first record, Luis Otamendi, he's a friend from Gus from back home. We didn't know him, but he saw that just that we released the record, and he was like, "Oh, this is cool! Like, can I have this record?" And so that started happening from day one. You know,
I think he loved the couch. I think he loved the logo. I think it was about that. I mean, I remember. I don't know, from the beginning. I think I'm trying to like remember stuff. Like I think part of it was really cool to like connect with people, because I remember like from the first moment, like I thought, okay, we have to make a label, and then I thought of my friend, like a friend of a friend who wasn't really my friend at the time. That's Ruben. That's who like designed our logo, and he has like done a lot of the artwork. Of the design artwork most. And I just remember thinking, I want to do something with him. You know,
nice,
has been the way, like it has happened also with everything. Right? We want to do something with him. That's like, and not even like for instance, Presidente, he like approached us, but it was the same. Like, of course we want to work with, like, of course we want to make that happen and connect. Like Ruben was in Caracas, we were here in Barcelona. Let's do this internet. It's always been about like just.
What role has the studio played for you guys? I didn't realize that you did recording as well. I see some gear behind you right now. So tell me about how that plays in a role. And are you recording for your artists? Is it two separate entities, the studio and the label? How does it work?
Yeah, this is like sort of our base here in where we live, but not every record. We've done things here, but I would say most, where everything was recorded in the distance. So most of the cases, I'm just doing like the general because each case is different, but most of them, what happens is the person writes the songs, you know, and maybe records the most basic tracks, and then they send it to us, and we sort of do a production in a network kind of way, like, okay, this song needs drums. Let's call Juan, our friend, that he does this really nice, and then we send it to him. And we need the strings, or we need guitar, or we need woman voice. So it's a bit of like a network thing. And
that's awesome.
Of course, a lot of stuff we do here in the studio. Gus, he's not here, and me, we are both do mixing and mastering too. So
awesome.
A lot of the stuff we mix and master here.
Well, that's a great deal for the artists. I mean, do they have to pay you for that, or is that part of just being in the community on the label?
Because, like, I think that this is really important. That I think we talk about it a little bit, but it's like these records become our records to beyond the label thing, like beyond, okay, we're gonna put this record out, so we have to figure out how to get these strings. No, it's just like, at least I can just speak for me, obviously. So for me, it's like I'm doing the production and mixing and recording drums and doing all this stuff. So I feel that it's my record too. Like creatively, it's the same. I feel it's my work too, like, so I'm not thinking about
exactly. So like, that's why
it's not work. It's not. It's like my work, my creative output too.
Yes.
So
that's beautiful.
That's nice because obviously all this work we put in the label is just out of love and fun, and just doing it like if it was for yourself, so
yeah, it's our CrossFit. It's like it's it's like what
let me ask you a question then, because I've done that too with my label. When I started as a home studio that kind of, I was making records for myself and for my friends, and I thought, let's combine all of our resources and become a record label. So I started out as a studio, and I was in the same position as you, had recorded the majority of the records that I've released. But that's become a problem over the years because I get really tired. And by the time the album is done and mastered, I don't want to hear it anymore. Yeah. And as opposed to receiving an album and being completely detached from the making of and not seeing behind the curtain. It was a purer process, and I've enjoyed releasing records that I had no part in more.
Yeah.
Do you understand that? Does that?
No, we have the both scenarios too, and it's really interesting. Like, for example, with the Señor Presidente record, it was not only was this artist that we already like really respected, and out of nowhere being like, "Hey guys, I have this new record.
Yeah,
do you want to put it out?" It was just like, wow, that was amazing. But then too, for the first time having that experience, like just like listening for the first time and being like, wow, like I love this. And so just being like a little kid with this new big toy, and you have to figure out how to move it and to make it all happen. I think for sure there's a difference there, and maybe it's cool that there's three of us. So even if maybe I'm mixing one album, then the other guys are not being so so into that process. But maybe for them it's still fresh when they at least.
Okay, good point.
There's three of us, so I think that's a
good point.
Maybe if it was just me, in your position, like a bit like. I don't know if this is working out.
Yeah.
but I think it's really, in the end, it's just it's positive to have the both scenarios available. Like just doing it ourselves or just like receiving the product kind of way.
Yeah, for sure. At least, I mean, it is a fact. There's just an amount of work you can do on any project. So. Of course, if like you're like making more stuff, like you're producing, you're mixing, you're mastering, that's going to take away work from afterwards, and that does happen, and for us, when an album gets here mostly finished, there's more energy for it, and when you're like 2 years in a project or a year and a half in a project,
sure.
But I mean, we're sort of figuring it out.
We're figuring it out.
We're figuring it out. We're trying
I think there's a balance, because
I think it's getting also like help. I mean, in a way, like working with professionals, working with more people, like that. I think that's what we're trying to like think about. Like
that's
I think,
a good point.
It's not. Yeah, I mean, and trying to like we're trying to like think of the projects right now. These like trying to think of them at least in some way of a commercial way, in a way. I mean, at least like, not like you're gonna make a lot of money out of it, but at least like make little economic plans so that you can like spend on it beforehand, because you sort of know that
that's very smart.
If you do these 5 things, you'll get that cash to spend on the projects, to hire someone, to etc.
Yeah. That's a really good point. What helps you guys decide whether a release is digital only or if it gets a cassette release? Like what have you guys done in the past? Have you done vinyl? I see you've done cassette, but
we're gonna do our first vinyl this year, actually.
Great.
So that's a whole new like adventure mystery.
Yeah.
Gonna happen like a few months from now, but I think by doing that, we're trying to maybe like sort of like start phase 2 or whatever you want to call it. Like, okay, let's do it this way and try to like we were saying, like to have more money from the vinyl sales to put back into the promotion and everything else. But I think until now, mostly all releases get cassette edition.
Oh, okay. So you don't do any digital only other than singles?
Exactly. For now, we only, I think we released maybe like an outtakes EP that was only digital.
Yeah.
And
some singles.
Just singles.
Okay.
But most, like up until now, all of them have like the albums, all of them have gone to cassettes, and we're actually trying to like figure out if we want to keep like having like the albums at least like a short run on cassettes, because we like the formats. It's really like it's a great like way to introduce the music to some audiences, and it's a great way for a fan sometimes to like show love,
It's a cool object.
It's a cool object. Like, we like it, so it's like
I know,
profitable and it's still like it allows us to be creative with the album once more, like the cassette makes it you can do different things that you're not going to do in other editions, so it's still fun, so
you make really beautiful stuff. I also noticed you have a little bit of quite a bit of merch as well, like some nice sweatshirts and stuff. How's that been going for you? They're very, very nice.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, it's been going really cool actually. With like we're all like each time, like when Nabil says we're not planning anything, we have been like sort of trying it out each time in a way. Like each new merch in a way, and each time it has gone like sold out and everyone loves it. We don't make that many of them, but we want to make more and new and cooler. I mean, not cooler, but new and different stuff. I think it works. I mean, for us, it's like we at the beginning, when we never like edited anything or like maybe made any merch, we didn't have any like projects that were doing this and like were like being like successful in any way. So it's like for us, it's like do you think people are going to buy sweaters from a label that's like what, like we could have asked that question and we answer it ourselves, making things and like seeing oh yeah, I mean at least friends of friends of friends we can sort of and we want to scale it up, we want to make it like so it reaches more people.
Are you printing them like on demand, or you do like a short run?
No, we're all doing short runs with like serigraphy. How do you say that? Print screen studio here in Barcelona.
Okay.
It's, another Venezuelan friend, it's sort of like that sort of
they're
way.
They're really, really nice, really classy looking.
Thanks.
I don't find it surprising that what's that?
We can send you one.
Oh, please.
Where are you? Where are you actually?
I'm in Canada. That would probably cost you $1 million. I'll pay you for the shipping. But I don't find it surprising that they would sell, even if you're not a fan of the label, or even if you don't. Not that you're not anybody would not be a fan, but I mean, to me, it just looks cool. It just is something.
Yeah. That's the point, right?
That's the
point. Just do something that looks cool or sounds cool, or people see it and it's like, oh, this is nice. I don't even care who.
Well, and I think if you can be responsible to curate music for people, then you can be responsible to curate fashion. So I think it all connects really well.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. I think the same way also. Yeah. We like to every creative output we can sort of like at least do it in a way we think it's cool. We approach it that way, like anything,
and it's an excuse to make stuff, the whole label thing, just like creative stuff, like, so it doesn't matter what it is, really. It's just like,
whenever I make merch or anything like that, or any physical products, it's always like, what do I want? What do I want to wear?
Yeah, exactly. That's how we made it. That's it. Sure. Exactly the question. Like I don't know if you saw the "Sad Is Okay" sweater we have there with the frock. It was like literally we wanted the sweater. Like we were like, we just thought of the sweater. Like, I want that picture with this phrase on the bottom, and it's like, okay, let's make it. I think if we make 10, it will be better. I want one. You want one? Okay.
Yeah. That's awesome. Well, I mean, it saves you money from having to go and buy clothes anywhere else. So
exactly.
My last question for you is: what are some of the challenges that you face as a record label these days? What do you find hardest about running your label and promoting your releases?
Everything.
Okay.
Just like learning to be a label from scratch without any knowledge of what being a label means. Sort of like making, like, creating what it means for us and what it needs to be, so that artists, it works for them too, and everyone, it's working for all of us. And knowing the limits of what we can and cannot do, trying to grow a little bit, like learning how to what it means to grow for us.
But I think especially promoting the music and like getting it out there to a bigger audience, especially if you're not doing pop, but not like we're doing pop, but like we're not doing mainstream pop, and you're not like your artists are not being like influencers on Instagram because you're not that artist, and like if you're not playing that game, getting the music out there sometimes is hard, because I think I mean, no, that's not an opinion, but like I would love for people that know stuff to listen to the music, like they should search and find it. You know what I mean? Like,
it's been such a pleasure to talk to you guys. I think you have a great label you've put together here, and thank you so much for doing this.
No, thanks so much for having us. It's been like an honor.
Thank you for doing this podcast actually, because it's been so weird to find. I think what happened to us as a label of feeling this void that needed to be filled or whatever, it's the same with, at least that's what I feel personally. Like, I don't know, it's the first thing I found in the internet where there's information about being a label,
that's great.
So crazy too. And like, this week it's the guy from Bandcamp, and it's like just these like light bulb moments all the time, like, oh, how didn't we think about this constantly, or like hearing from other labels, it's so amazing. Like thank you for that, because
that's awesome.
I was a fan from the first one. It was like, this is
thank you,
perfect for us. Like if I could ask like for something, it would be this. Like
that's great.
It's been really refreshing. Yeah. Thanks.
That's awesome. Well, listen, I have a little game and a bonus question that I save as an extended interview for our patrons. And so if you have a couple more minutes, I want to ask you another question.
Yeah,
sure. Yeah.
Thank you so much for listening. You have to check out this incredible band. They have such great music, and everything looks great that they do. I'm just such a big fan. So go to lacreurecords.bandcamp.com. That's spelled LACREURECORDS.bandcamp.com. You can find them on Instagram at LACREU Records. That's how you spell their label name. Such a great label. If you'd like to hear my extended interview with them and the little game we play, consider becoming a patron by going to patreon.com/other record labels. We have quite an extended little chat with these guys and we kind of dig into something a little bit different this time. And I think you'll find that really helpful for your label. Speaking of finding things that are helpful, if you are in the early stages of running a record label, if you're dreaming about starting a record label, or if you've been running a record label for a year or 2 or 3 years and you need some more resources and a little kickstart, make sure you go to our website, otherrecordlabels.com/toolkit, where we have a toolkit for record labels that's packed full of helpful resources and templates that you can utilize with your own label. Thank you so much for listening.